Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rush Hour Sports Network. It is yours truly, Jay Smooth, here to bring you more NFL news all around the league. And of course, joining me as always, my co-host B Money. What is going on, sir?
What's up, bro?
Always good to have
Talk
you.
football.
Absolutely, man. Let's talk some football. Good to have you back. It's been a week. We took a week off. We had some stuff going on, of course, in our personal lives, but we are back at it. And hey, let's do a rundown of the news. I'll let you run down the news, and then we will go through the final 10 picks of the Smooth Money Mock Draft List 1.0.
Let's do it.
All right. So where would you like to start?
Well, I guess we're gonna talk about a little news real quick. I guess we can start with talking about the Colts signing Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah. So the Colts signed Stephon Gilmore, which is a actually one of the more interesting actually one of the more interesting moves to happen after all of the big free agency conundrum in the beginning. This was really good for the Colts. The Colts need a strong defensive presence in the secondary. They haven't had a strong defensive presence in the secondary since like the Bob Sanders years. But even so, I think with Gilmore and his track record, there's no question he's going to bring a lot of leadership to the secondary, and it's going to upgrade him in a big way. So I like it for the Colts. Big move.
Yeah, and in total too, we know Gilmore. I think he's 31. The deal's only 2 years, 23 million, 14 guaranteed.
Wow, that's something right there, man. I'll tell you what, that's a lot. That's a lot of money to give to him. I mean, he certainly earned it, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do in Indy.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I think they need some moves to solidify the secondary. And, like even the little bit that they have had, I know they had Rock Yassin traded to the Raiders, I believe.
Yes, they did.
I think
That's
a month
correct.
ago. So like,
Yes.
they could use some help there, and hopefully he's back to his old form. Being a former defensive player of the year, because the Colts. I mean, the Colts have an opportunity to make some noise. You know, I think Matt Ryan's going to be an upgrade over Carson Wentz. Jonathan Taylor's going to be good for them. Again, and they got some other pieces on that defense too. I mean, you talk about the secondary being a spot of weakness, but for them, the second level you got Darius Leonard, and then up front you got DeForest Buckner. So like, they got pieces on the other levels of the defense, but they needed someone for the secondary for sure.
Absolutely, man. So big upgrade for the Colts and moving in the right direction. They got themselves quarterback, and now they have themselves a bit of a quarterback in the secondary, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So what else we got going on?
Other news going on. Speaking of cornerbacks, how about the Cleveland Browns signing Denzel Ward to a huge extension, making him, I believe, the highest paid cornerback in NFL history.
That is correct. It was, I believe, 5 years, $100.5 million. It is a crazy amount of money to give to a corner, but it is one that I believe he has deserved. 5 years, 5 years of the extension, $100 million, and you know
Five
what?
years.
Yeah, that's a lot to give to him. And hey, they did draft him. They did draft him. He's a local talent. I believe Ohio State product. They
Yeah,
did. Yep. So he is a local talent. He has been big for them on that defense. I believe he is their best. He's literally their best. I believe defender in the secondary. So,
absolutely.
absolutely. So you have to you have to hold on to a cornerstone of the defense like him. So that is a huge extension, though, but still, he is worth every penny, and he's lived up to it. And really, this kind of signals what the Browns are doing. What they're doing is they're going all in. They go with the Deshaun Watson move. They lock down their homegrown corner, and as well as kind of keep that core as tight as possible, even though Odell Beckham Jr. is gone and Jarvis Landry is about to explore their options. The Browns, I believe, are going to be likely looking for a receiver in the draft, and with all the speedy receivers in the draft, I think Deshaun Watson's going to have himself an interesting weapon. And what's interesting about the Browns is you can tell they're doing an overhaul because they are trying to get Baker Mayfield out of there. At first, it was, we'll make you stay here, but now it's like, yeah, we kind of want you out of here because they are literally signaling a whole change. And I like what they're doing by keeping on, by holding on to the talent that they've already grown and sort of not letting the ones that they didn't walk, but like they're letting the ones that actually matter stay, and the ones that kind of played a part, played a role, they kind of let them walk. Odell forced his way out though. That was different. he
Yeah,
yeah, like him and his father and whoever was that editor of that brilliant video, forced his way out of there. But nonetheless, brilliant move for the Browns. I like it.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's a brilliant move. He was their best secondary player, as you said, $100.5 million, 71.25 guaranteed over the next 5 years. He'll be in Cleveland through 2027, as long as they don't trade him before then. But yeah, he'll be the highest paid cornerback in NFL history, edging out Jalen Ramsey. His annual salary edges out Jalen Ramsey by $100,000.
Wow, which is something I know Ramsey. Right, which is something I know Ramsey will never live down.
Oh no, you already know Jalen's already up in the office at LA saying, "Hey, I want a new contract, bro."
Absolutely. I mean, and it's funny because when all these deals are coming out, you're starting to see a lot of players start to make little moves, like kind of demand that they want their money right now, and you're seeing it a lot across the league.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, but yeah, man. Hey, what else we got going on? Because there's quite a bit. Not too much, but there's quite a bit.
Speaking of extensions,
Mm-hmm.
uh, one quarterback gets an extension, and no, it's not Lamar Jackson. It's Derek Carr. Derek Carr gets an extension from the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes, sir.
The extension is worth 125.5 million over 3 years.
Josh McDaniel got that man paid. I don't know what it is about John Gruden that made him not like him, but uh, Josh McDaniel sees a lot in him, and it's good that he sees a lot in him because Derek Carr is actually a serviceable quarterback, and I felt like if they would have let him go, if they would have let him go, it would have been terrible. It would have been kind of a travesty for them. But now that they have locked him down, and now that Derek Carr has a coach that actually has faith in him and actually wants to work with him instead of fighting him half the season, and then him having to struggle with a backup all because his original coach is a racist. Um, now that he has a clear cut vision, it's going to be interesting to see if he can develop from here because now they have him. They extended him. They're holding on to him. They're giving him a shot now that they have a steady coach. But now we're going to find out if Derek Carr can take the next step because he has yet to do it. But now that he has a coach that actually believes in him and that the franchise has locked him down, uh, despite what we had previously thought, now we can see what he's really made of. So it's an exciting time for Carr. Carr can now kind of see this as not a prove it year because he already has the deal, but he's gonna prove it in the sense that he's not necessarily the wash that a lot of people think he is.
Yeah, now is the time to prove it for sure.
Yes, sir. But what else we got going on? I see that a couple other free agents got some new deals as well.
Yeah, yeah. Moving on to some other deals, the Packers get Aaron Rodgers a target, assuming he stays healthy. The Packers signed Sammy Watkins to a 1 year deal.
And this tells me that the Packers are 110% going to be in the market for a wide receiver in the draft. I imagine what's going to end up happening is they're likely going to go with either one of the Ohio State wideouts. They got a couple of them that are at the top. They're probably going to get one of the other speedy ones like late in the draft, late first, like probably later whenever they have their first, second pick. But they're definitely going to be in there because Sammy Watkins, like you said, he's only serviceable if healthy, and that's a big if when it comes to Sammy Watkins. So I know Aaron Rodgers is, in the media talking about how happy he is to have Sammy Watkins, but in reality, he's like, oh shit, I hope this is not all I'm gonna get. That's not
Yeah,
good. Like if Sammy Watkins is gonna come in as like not even a number, like probably the number one, not even number one. I hate to even say that he's number one, but if he comes in as like the number one or even the number two, that's not good. That's not good at all. So the Packers, good signing for depth reasons, but it's clear that the draft is going to be where they get their next receiver at because they're not going to get one now. And by the way, I don't believe the Packers have drafted a receiver since Donald Driver back in the day. I could be wrong, but I believe Donald Driver was the last one they drafted, and that was a long time ago. So the Packers may have to actually bite the bullet and get a receiver, unless they want to draft another quarterback then out of nowhere for God knows why,
yeah.
like they did with
Who
Jordan
knows,
Love.
man?
By the way, I feel bad for Jordan Love. The man should be on a team. Well, he shouldn't be on a team by now, but he pretty much was only drafted to be I'd say a bit of a motivating factor for Rodgers. There was no plan for him. Like he's just there now.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy shit. But yeah, man. Hey, Packers. Hope you got more tricks up the sleeve. And by the way, speaking of the NFC North Division, there is another team that signed a former Raven. Funny enough,
Uh,
yeah, former Raven safety Deshaun Watson signed a 1 year. I mean, Deshaun Elliott signed a 1 year deal with the Lions. That pretty much means his career's over. That means he's had a good run. He's had a great run with a winning team. But now he is going to go to NFL Purgatory, which is Detroit. I feel bad for him because he was actually one of my favorite defenders on the Ravens, but nonetheless, this is what happens when no other team wants you. And hey, maybe he can prove himself there, but then again, it's hard to really prove yourself as something in Detroit when that team is not destined to be anything great. So hey, it was a good run, Deshaun, but unfortunately, you're going to be stuck there. Hey, maybe some team that goes on like a playoff run, maybe their starting safety has a concussion and he's done for the year, or he has a brain bleed or something, or breaks his arm. They can sign the, they can. Maybe they could sign him or something. I don't know. It's only a 1 year deal, so the Lions will probably not even see him as much when they don't make the playoffs. So who knows? Maybe he'll get one of those deals. But until then, he's stuck in purgatory. Sucks to be him.
yeah.
What what else we got going on though?
Um. Well, I guess that segues to my last little thing is a slew of Ravens news for my Ravens fans out here is
Yes.
first of all happening yesterday. Today's day of recording is April 19th, but happening yesterday, the Ravens cut Miles Boykin, and then I believe last week or 2 weeks ago now they re-signed Josh Bynes and Calais Campbell.
Yeah, it's good they got those two signings. Good they got the two signings. As far as Miles Boykin, I'll say this. Um, he was the big body receiver the Ravens needed. He was never going to be Anquan Bolden, but he was certainly the big body receiver that the Ravens needed. Unfortunately, never quite panned out to be what we were hoping he would be. And it sucks because he certainly had the body type for it. My guess is he's either going to get picked up by a low end team in the league or he's going to be shipped to Birmingham to play for one of the 8 teams in the USFL, which kicked off about a week ago. Uh,
Well, actually, no news on Miles Boykin. He was claimed off of waivers today by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
oh, well, there you go. He got claimed by a team that's going to lose the division. So, a low end team. Hey, hey, at least he's getting another chance. At least he's getting another chance. Unfortunately, the quarterback throwing to him is Mitch Trubisky. So, I don't know what that's going to do for his career. Probably derail it. It's not going to be like Rashad Perryman, where you go from having Joe Flacco throwing to you to Tom Brady throwing to you. You know what I mean? This guy's going from having, Flacco and Lamar to now having Mitch Trubisky and maybe Kenny Pickett, maybe Malik Willis, because you can best believe if the Panthers sign Baker Mayfield, which is the big rumor out there, by the way, if the Panthers do that, that takes the Panthers out of the quarterback running. But guess what team is now in the quarterback running? That'd be the Pittsburgh Steelers because Mitchell Trubisky ain't it. he ain't it. I don't care what team you put him on. He won't win you. He won't win you a Commander's Trophy in the CFL. He actually no. He won't win you a Grey Cup in the CFL. Uh, yeah. So hey, Miles, at least you got yourself a squad, but unfortunately, it's a squad that's gonna lose the division. A little interesting though. Yeah, hey, it sucks, man. You know what I mean? But hey, at least he's getting a shot, though. I am very happy for him that he's getting his shot. And speaking of the Steelers, by the way, rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. We did not talk about this, but he did actually pass away. I believe he was hit by a dump truck when he was crossing the street. It was or something like that. Very tragic accident. So rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. By the way, he's a local kid. He's actually local in terms of us because he's from our home state of Maryland. And it is unfortunate that he did pass away. And if anything, as far as what this relates to in terms of moves for the Steelers, not only is it a huge loss in terms of just in general, it now leaves another hole in the Steelers organization because if you think about it, Dwayne Haskins was actually bought in to kind of sit on the bench and develop a little bit, and Tomlin saw something in him, and I think Tomlin was going to give him a chance to play because let's be honest, Mitchell Trubisky is going to, I'd say, take about 5-6 games before he crashes and burns. So Dwayne Haskins was definitely going to get himself a shot in like week 7, week 8. Unfortunately, that won't happen. So my guess with the Steelers now is that they are going to be all in on a quarterback now more than ever because of both the tragedy and because of the fact that, I mean, we're talking Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, and Joe Burrow in your division, and the Steelers are going to come back with what? Mitchell Trubisky? Like, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, if anything, the Steelers they should draft a rookie. And obviously they're not going to do anything with the rookie the first year, but at least you can develop for the next year. Because the options for quarterback out there now are not going to work. Jimmy Garoppolo is apparently not going to start for the he's not going to report for the offseason workout program for the 49ers. So he's on the market, but the fact that Jimmy G hasn't been signed now tells you a lot, and the fact that the uh, Steelers haven't even like looked at Baker Mayfield tells you a lot. So the Steelers are going to be in the market for a QB. It looks like so. Miles, unfortunately, you're going to be stuck in purgatory for a while. Sucks to say. Is there any other news though before we get to the Smooth Money mock draft, the conclusion of it? That is.
I got nothing else.
Nothing else. All right. Well, with that being said, let us transition to that draft. Now, let's start at pick 22. I last stopped at 21, which was the Patriots. A lot has happened since then. A lot of teams have moved a little bit, and a lot of players have moved. Now, we talked about the Packers and their need for receiver. If you look at the Schrager mock draft, I believe they have here, I actually agree with Peter Schrager here. The Packers are going to get a receiver. Jahan Dotson from Penn State is fine. He is somebody that could absolutely be a starter right away. Whatever receiver the Packers get at 22, that person will be starting right away because again, their leading receivers who right now, Sammy Watkins. You know what I'm saying, bro? So you have Sammy Watkins there. Yeah, you're going to need you a rookie. So Dotson, you're going to be off the board at 22. 23, I like the inside offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman, Zion Williamson. They need some protection for Kyler Murray. Kyler, by the way, says he is not going to show up to minicamp or even play the season without a new contract. So he saw some of the money being floated around. He's trying to get it. I'm pretty sure he's going to get paid. And when he does, they're going to need to protect him. So Zion Johnson, come on down. Hopefully he's not like Zion Williamson, who just eats like Charles Barkley and gets fat and never plays. Hey, I'm just saying, man. The guy can make windmill dunks on Instagram, but you're telling me he can't get his ass on the floor? Come on now. It's playoff time. Where you at, Zion? Do something. Do something, brother. And by do something, I don't mean eat up all the Louisiana gumbo in the state. You know what I mean? 24. Tyler Lindenbaum, center for Iowa. I had this guy potentially going to the Ravens. I could still see the Ravens snatching this guy up because, I mean, the Ravens really need a fucking center, don't they?
They do.
They really
do. Even though I think the plan is still Patrick McCarry, they do.
Yeah, so actually it's funny you say that. I'm going to ask you a question that is Ravens related at the end of this because I'm going to fly through it. But yeah, it seems as if they're going to go center, Tyler's going to be the pick for the Ravens. If not, they're definitely going to go with the other option. But yeah, man, I can easily see Tyler being taken in the first round. The Cowboys absolutely need offensive line help. That line is trash. And dude will absolutely start day one on that line. He'll be a serviceable center. 25, Bryce Hall. Love it. The Bills did not have much of a running game last season, did they? Like who was their running back last season?
Devin Singletary.
No,
but the correct answer is the runner was Josh Allen.
Okay, that's what I figured. Because, like Josh Allen obviously ran, but I was wondering who their running back is. No clue. Breece Hall. I called him Bryce Hall. Breece Hall. One hell of a name. Iowa State running back. He is serviceable. He was actually part of Iowa State's charge this season toward a bowl game and bowl success. He was a fantastic runner. He is certainly going to be a playmaker for them. I believe Hall is going to be big in Bills Mafia territory. So, hey, Bills, go for that running back. Singletary can't be your only guy, and Josh Allen damn sure can't be your lead runner. So, getting themselves a nice little bruiser back with some speed on him like Bryce Hall, perfect back for the cold weather. They need themselves a cold weather back, and he's a cold weather back. He came from Iowa after all, so he's certainly built for it. Let's see. The Titans going for another interior offensive lineman in Kenyon Green. I love it. Looks good. The Titans really like him. They need the offensive line. They need an offensive lineman. He's perfect for the job. Simple as that. Texas A&M. He protected the Texas A&M quarterback, even though the quarterback was a reckless maniac. Still, Kenyon Green was throwing defensive linemen all over the field as well as linebackers. So I like him. 27 for the Buccaneers. They need a safety. Dax Hill's a good one. Even though they have Carlton Davis, they don't have Jordan Whitehead. And losing Jordan Whitehead was big. So I agree with Schrager here. Dax Hill from Michigan's a good safety. They could probably get another good serviceable safety. Obviously, Hamilton from Notre Dame is not going to be around. So I don't anticipate him being off the board. Sauce Gardner will also be off the board as well, and a few others like McDuffie. So a good DB like Dax Hill, perfect for the Buccaneers backfield. 28 again for the Packers. Devontae Wyatt, interesting pick. The Packers do need some defensive front help, especially now that Zadarius Smith is gone. They are going to need themselves a nice little defensive tackle, somebody that can get to the QB. He had a very good, like, combine performance, but unfortunately, Jordan Davis stole the spotlight there. But yeah, he had a great performance at the combine. He's very fast for his size. He can get to the QB. He's somebody that can throw a lot of those linemen around. So I like that pick of 28. Chiefs have a back-to-back. They're going to get an edge rusher from Purdue. I like the edge rusher. I probably would have gone a little different, maybe one of the other guys, but George from Purdue, I believe, is going to be serviceable. Hey, as long as they get any edge rusher, that's going to be good for the Chiefs. They certainly need it. And now that old Honey Badger's gone, and that Chiefs secondary is a little shaky, they're going to need some new blood at corner. So I like Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon's a good one. Personally, I would have. I think Trent McDuffie might fall a little bit, and Gordon might actually rise up a bit because Gordon's been getting a lot of hype a little bit. But if Gordon falls in the lap of the Chiefs, I suggest they absolutely jump on that. At 31 for the Bengals, hey, we talked about it last season, bro. Offensive line help for Joe Burrow. Stack the line for Burrow. Give Burrow protection. We talked about it during the Super Bowl show that you and I did. Everybody check that out on my main channel, Rush Hour MMA, by the way. But anyways, we talked about it on the Super Bowl show. Even then, and we talked about it even last season. Offensive line help. Tyler Smith from Tulsa is the perfect candidate. Any offensive tackle that is on the board, the highest rated one, I should say, that is on the board at 31 when the Bengals pick, is going to be a perfect pick. Get an offensive lineman, protect Joe Burrow at all costs. And then 32, the Detroit Lions, bro, are going to pull a Baltimore Ravens and draft a quarterback with the final pick in the draft. A little surprising, but you know what? I could see it happening. Matt Corral. I gotta be honest though. I don't think it's gonna be Matt Corral. I like Matt Corral. The only thing with Matt Corral is he is a pocket passer. He's a little bit like a Taylor Heineke. Like he's the same size as Taylor Heineke, but he's more of a pocket passer. You can run a little bit, but he's more of a pocket guy, which is what the Lions already have in Jared Goff, which is why I believe the Lions are not going to draft Matt Corral. I think they're going to draft Desmond Ridder, the quarterback and madman behind the success of the undefeated Cincinnati Bearcats. They went undefeated throughout the regular season. They ran into the buzzsaw known as Alabama, the final boss of the whole NCAA, so to speak. And they ran into him and got beat up. They basically got skull dragged. But Desmond Ridder led them to an undefeated season, and he played phenomenal. And even though Matt Corral had a great season as well, I don't believe Matt Corral is the quarterback for that system. He obviously fits it because Jared Goff, he's the same type as a Jared Goff. But if they want to switch things up, if they want to bring in somebody that can be a difference maker in the future, bring in Desmond Ridder. I say get Desmond Ridder. It's not a reach. It's a better pick than Sam Howell. It's a better pick than Carson Strong and any of the other quarterbacks. Before you get in that second tier, Desmond Ridder is basically the best of the second tier. Getting him at 32 is not a reach because if the Lions don't get him at 32, he's probably going to be taken in the top 5 of the second round. So Desmond Ridder is going to be my prediction for the slot. I know Peter Schrager loves Matt Corral, but I'm going to go with a quarterback that will actually be a difference maker in the Lions offense. Plus, I think Dan Campbell will like having a guy like Desmond Ridder run his offense over Matt Corral. So, with that being said, that is a Smooth Money Mock Draft 1.0, teams 1 through 32. And folks, I hope this helps you guys in terms of your drafting. I hope it helps you in terms of your gambling, because I know some of you are going to gamble on it. Now, I did have a question for you, B Money, that I would like for you to answer. When it comes to the draft, clearly the only team that I know you are focusing on is the Ravens for obvious reasons. My question to you is, at 14 for the Ravens, at 14, and by the way, everybody in the comment section of this video, let me know who you want your team to get in the first round of the draft. I want opinions from everybody that listens. And I would like your opinion, B Money, since our team is the Ravens. Who do you want the Ravens to pick at 14?
been eyeing Jordan Davis quite a bit.
Ah, so you are on the Jordan Davis train, which is a good train to be on because Jordan Davis is no slouch. He's certainly what we need. I don't mind if they go the Tyler route, but I gotta say, man, if they draft Jordan Davis, the man that literally stole the show at the NFL scouting combine, if they draft that guy, he's going to be something special. I think he's going to be something special. Whoever drafts him, it's funny. Schrager has him falling 19 to the Saints, and Schrager has the Ravens picking Trevor Penning, Northern Iowa offensive tackle at 14. Don't like that pick at all. I actually fucking hate it. Um, Personally, I actually agree with you. If Jordan Davis is on that board, if Peter Schrager's right and Jordan Davis is there, I want Davis over Penning and I want Davis over Tyler as well. Just
Yeah.
in terms of the intangibles, in terms of the potential, in terms of what he's done at UGA, and in terms of all the physical tools he has to translate into the NFL, I think he's the most NFL ready. And obviously, a lot of these combine freaks, they look good in workouts. Sometimes they don't always flash. I think this guy's going to be a different case, especially when there are a lot of freak athletes in this draft. Like, pretty much the whole draft is freak athletes for the most part. I believe he's going to be one of the freak athletes that shines in this one. So, I agree with you, bro. I want, at number 14, I want Jordan Davis. Now, I know my pick was different when we did it, but I can absolutely understand why you would want him. And now that we're closer to the draft, and now that we've seen the field play out a bit, I that Jordan Davis pick does look really good. If we go offensive lineman, I want a center. I'd rather go Tyler. But if the Ravens are going to go defense, which we believe they will, we need Jordan Davis because Jordan Davis is the guy that's going to get to the quarterback. We need us a rusher. We lost out on Zadarius Smith, and at this point, we need a rusher we can develop. You know what I'm saying? So, in terms
Yeah.
of in terms of just that position, I'm all for it. So I agree with you, 100%. I like that pick a lot. Um, and hey, you know what? The countdown to the draft is on because, let's see, it is Tuesday, April 19th. The draft is officially 9 days away. It is April the 28th. Um, gotta say, this is actually the first draft that I've covered in which there is no clear cut number one pick, bro. Because every mock draft I've seen has a different number one pick. A lot of people have Aiden Hutchinson. Some people have Trayvon Walker. Some people have, they have Ike Ekwonu. Some people even have one of the quarterbacks going number one, which I think is complete fucking insanity since Trevor Lawrence is in Jacksonville. No reason for them, uh, to get another quarterback. So there is no clear cut number one this year. Like, usually by now, we know who number one is. Like, the hype is there. You see them in all the interviews. You hear them, their name being touted over and over again. There is no player like that if you notice. Like, when it comes to draft coverage, there is no player like that. You have the players that are talked about in terms of what they did in the combine, but no clear cut number one. So, folks, for the first time in a long time, the number one pick is wide open. And as of right now, the Jaguars have no clue what they're going to do with it. And I think that makes things interesting. The Jaguars could probably go completely out of left field with their pick, too. You never know where they're going to go. So, folks, the draft is certainly something you would want to pay attention to this year. Is there anything you would like to close out with before we get out of here?
I got nothing else.
Good stuff, my guy. And you know what? This is the time of the year where things get quiet. They get very quiet in terms of moves. I'm sure some moves are going to happen, but not too many. Oh, by the way, shout out to Terrell Owens, who made his return in the fan controlled football league and actually scored a touchdown at the end of it, even though his team lost. And also, Shout out to the USFL for kicking off last week. What I learned is that all 8 teams are playing in one stadium in Birmingham, which, I mean, you're saving on travel costs by having a bubble and all that. But Jesus, it looks so amateur on TV. But anyways, yeah, shout out to them. Good luck to them. For those that are like football fanatics, you do have the USFL you can watch for a little bit. But hey, at least training camp is what? Not that far away. We're talking about like 2, 3 months away. The
Yeah.
NFL draft is next week. So hey, we got a lot of time. I mean, I'm sorry, it's 9 days away, so we have a lot of good stuff going on right now. It's a little bit of a quiet time in the league, but there are still things that could very well happen. Oh, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to the Washington Commanders for committing fraud by keeping separate fight. No, and this is a real story, by the way.
This man
They
knew the word shout out.
oh, absolutely. Hey, shout out to him, man, because it is very bold of a franchise to commit financial fraud by having 2 sets of books and not reporting all the financials to all of the owners. This is a guy who's trying to keep all the money for himself. So shout out to Dan Snyder for committing fraud and not giving a shit whether or not he gets caught by the Federal Trade Commission. That is not a good thing when the FTC is involved and when Congress is involved. Dan Snyder, you're fucked, and you're about to sell that team whether you like it or not, buddy. And by the way, that Commander's name is going to change too, because I can tell you now, whoever owns this team, they're going to call it something different because Commanders has to be the worst fucking name for any team in any sport ever, and I'm pretty sure you can agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. When your nickname is the Commies, that's not something you want to hear chanted. Let's go Commies. Good God. You don't want that to become a thing. So hopefully they change that whole name and that whole franchise because Dan Snyder pretty much sunk it into the ground. He said, you know what? You want to take my money? Then I'm gonna take the franchise with me, and he pretty much just sunk it into the ground. So Dan Snyder, enjoy prison. Um, anyways, we will see you all next week. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, be money. Great to have you here. I assume, sir, we will see you next week.
We'll try.
We will try. And next week, by the way, is going to be our draft preview special. And obviously, we have been previewing the draft up until this point. But what we're going to do differently is we're going to basically give you the top 10 names that you need to look out for that you can expect to be chosen on night one of the draft. As far as, the second round and beyond, it's a crapshoot. But first round, I think there should be some clarity. But like I said earlier, this year's draft is so wide the fuck open that anybody could be drafted at any time. And any team could go in any direction. There's no clear-cut direction for any. I mean, there are clear-cut directions, but in terms of where players are going, nobody really knows. By now, we have a clue. At this point, we don't, because there's so many things changing every week. So, folks, keep it locked in here. We're going to make sure you guys stay informed. Be Money, thank you for being here, of course, as always. This is your host, as always, folks, Jay Smooth. We will see you next week, and until then, we gone.